Welcome to this month's Makers with Heart collaboration. All the makers will be featuring craft fair items made from Close to My Heart products. I am Katie Weeks, and if you're following along from the hop, Lori Cooch was yesterday and Don Haight is tomorrow. I am going to be sharing a little assembly of video for a Santa gift bag with a tag and a stuffed treat bag. Most of the makers are going to share things that they might take to a craft fair. I'm going to be sharing the kits that I am making at Christmas Extravaganza, which is an upcoming event at a crop in about a week and a half. And so you will see me work with these pre-made kits. Okay, we're going to start with this darling little Santa bag. And in the kit, you will find all the pieces. This Santa bag is actually a white gift bag with handles that I got at like Hobby Lobby or something like that. It measures 4 by 5 1/8 by 2 inches. And I'm getting out all the little pieces and I'll tell you their dimensions as we use them. So the first thing I think we need to do is on the back, I like to stamp something that has our angel policy from Close to My Heart. We actually have a angel policy stamp set, and if you are going to sell your work at a craft fair or a bazaar or maybe even at a boutique in town or flower shop, this is what you should be stamping on the back of your work to show that it is close to my heart. It has their little trademark on it. And I stamped that in the candy apple. And then we're going to go to the other side and we're going to put on our piece of candy apple red cardstock. It's measuring 3.5 by 4 3/4 inches. And I'm just using my tape runner on the back of that. If you are following along at Christmas Extravaganza, then you might want to pause this video in parts, and that would be absolutely fine. Next, I'm going to use the belt and the buckle. These are cut from an old thin cut set that we had, and it's called Buckle Up. No, I'm sorry, it's called Button Up. The belt is from our black ore paper and the buckle is from our gold glitter paper. And they cut really nicely, and I just assembled these with our liquid glue. I used the fine tip applicator so I could get a really thin line of glue on the back of it. And I just put it on a few spots on the back of the belt. And then when I put it on, it will overhang that 4 inches, just the tad, so you can come back and snip those off later if you would like, but let it sit real good so that the glue can dry. Next, I do have a couple of wood buttons in this bag. Those will go above the belt. The other thing that I cut with that button-up thin cut set is the beard, and so you'll see that in a little bit as well. So I'm coming in with my black shimmer brush and I'm painting those buttons and setting them aside so they can dry. So I just put that black shimmer brush on the front of each button and then around the sides. I got pretty messy with this and had to wash my hands good afterwards. And then with my intense black ink, I'm going to stamp this little stack of presents. I believe that's from Tags Under the Tree Stampin' Thin Cut set. And all of the products that I use in these gift bags will be in the description below. And so I'm going to stamp that on the Evergreen cardstock. And the cardstock I cut to like 2 by 4, and then I thin cut the pieces to put in the gift bag. And then I had a little scrap of candy apple that was just tiny, like 1 by 1.5. And I'm stamping that middle present and cutting it out so that my stack of gifts looks like various colors. And I'm just going to cut that out quickly with my micro tip scissors. I love these. The ones that I like are the non-stick ones because they're the most versatile. It has like a Teflon coating and stuff does not stick to it. It comes off super easy, even if it has adhesive or if I'm cutting adhesive. So I just adhere that to the front of the gifts. And then I'm going to wrap that stack of, oh, wait a minute. I need to stamp something else yet. From the, I think it was Funny Secret Santa set, there was a thing that said ho, ho, ho at the top left. And so I'm going to stamp that in candy apple to the far right of this circle. So this circle and the tag that you see over there to the left are both part of a tag set that we had a couple of years ago. I bought tons of these because I used some of them in my daughter's centerpieces for her wedding. And so I have lots of the other ones that I did not use left over. And so I'm using up my stash some when I made up these kits. So I'm setting that aside, letting it dry. And then I'm going to stamp on the back of that striped tag a Merry Christmas sentiment. This is from an old Merry Christmas. We have a newer one in the catalog now. I'm going to stamp that. I think I stamped this in the Evergreen. And then the To From is from the Funny Secret Santa. And I'm going to stamp that in candy apple all the way over to the left. That way there is room for me to write the names for who it's to and from. Okay, and then I'm just going to adhere the ho 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 to the front side of the tag that has the gold stripes on it. And then eventually the presents will go on the left-hand side. So that's why I had to stamp ho 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 to the right. The next thing I'm going to do is just put some adhesive on the back of the presents. And then wrap this white ribbon with the gold edging. There's a lot of ribbon in here and you're going to need to cut it. So I just put some adhesive at the top and bottom on the back of the presents and then wrapped that ribbon around so that it went across the front. And I think I ran a little bead of liquid glass down the middle of those presents just to hold it in place once I got my ribbon to the right length. And you aren't really going to see that this ribbon goes over the stamped bow when it is all finished. So I just wrapped it all the way around the whole stack of presents, fed it through that hole, and put it on the adhesive that I put on the back. And then I actually don't need the hole at the top for a tag. So I'm going to snip that little tag, that circle at the top off so that it's not in the way later on. I don't want it to stick out. And I use some 3D dimensional foam tape to put the presents on the front. You don't have to do that, but I just kind of like the look of that. And then this gold glitter bow, I think it might have been from that tag set as well. I'm not sure. It's from an old tag set. Okay, so now I have my clear shimmer brush and I am going to go across the, after I get it started on a scrap piece of paper, I'm going to go across under the belt, the very bottom where Santa might have a fuzzy white trim. I'm going to put a little bit of white shimmer brush and then all over this white panel that is going to represent his beard. And I'm going to put that all around on that beard and set that aside to dry. Okay, so my buttons should be dry. On my original one, I had 3 buttons, and you can't see the third one. So we're only doing 2 buttons on here. So I just took my liquid glass and adhered those 2 buttons to the front of the Santa bag. And I need to explain to you how I cut this top. These are all pre-cut in the kits, but when I measured that bottom part of the bag, it was 4 inches by 2 inches. So I have a panel that I cut for everybody that is, oh, and the handle came in a ways. About 1 inch from each side is where the handle was, but I wanted to cut a slit that was about 1/2 inch from each edge so you could slide those handles through. So I left 1 inch around all the way around. So it was 4 by 2, so I cut this at 4 by 6. And then I scored at 1 inch on all 4 sides. And then I cut some little tabs so that we can glue these together. And then I came in 1.5 inches from each side on that 6-inch lengthwise. And that would be 1/2 inch in from where the score mark is. And then I cut about 1/8 of an inch on either side of my score line. So it gave me like a 1/4 inch trough in there, if that kind of makes sense. If you're at a Christmas extravaganza, these are already pre-made for you. But if you're not there, that's just kind of my little thought process behind how I designed these. There's probably other ways you can make these as well, but that's just how I came up with a quick way to create multiples of these lids for the gift bags. So I just adhered all the little tabs together, and then that will slide down over the gift bag. And then once the beard was dried, I just glued it with my adhesive to the front. Okay, I had to let it dry and then adhere it together. So it's all ready to go. And I just open up the gift bag so that I can put the topper on it. And there's like 2 other gift bags in another video. I will leave that link at the end of this video and in the description below. Those do not have toppers on it, but I think this is adorable on the little Santa bag. And then the rest of that white ribbon I used so I can just tie this up on the top of the gift bag. Isn't that a fast, easy little gift bag to make for Christmas? I think that's a lot of fun. So that's the first one. And we're going to set that aside and bring over the things for the stuffed treat bag. I love this. This has all the goodies for a hot chocolate. And it has this little snowflake that was from an old kit that we had. And I have the purple stuffing in there. It's just a lot of fun. The mini marshmallows, or the miniature pack of marshmallows, is just something I ordered on Amazon. Then there's Swiss Miss hot chocolate mix, and of course some chocolate, because it's a treat bag, so I needed another treat in there. And then all the little pieces. Make sure you get out all the little purple stuffing that is shoved down into your bag. So we're going to turn this, it's just the normal lunch sack, and we're going to turn it over and fold up that bottom flap. And you need some adhesive to hold this together. And I actually came through with some foam tape to give it some dimension, so I had room to stuff everything down in there. So I used the thinner width of the 2 rolls of the 3D foam tape, but I definitely like the thicker foam tape for this one. So I put those on and pulled that off and put that up, and then I'm going to show you the different little panels that we have. We have 3 different panels. So the medium, I use the printed side with the leaves or twigs, and the polka dot smallest panel I used at the top, and then the other polka dot panel that's the largest piece, I'm actually going to use that on the back. So go ahead and adhere these two to the front. This one I kind of put up close to the fold, and the next one I just kind of put it at the top. It's all right if it comes up a little ways if you want to have it up from the fold, or you can put it down right next to the fold. It's going to be covered by the things that you stuff in there anyways. And that's where the hot chocolate and the Ghirardelli candy will go inside. Okay, let's do some fun stamping now. I'm going to start with that large polka dot panel and the wisteria ink. And again, we're going to use that Angel Policy stamp to put on the back of these. I think this would be a great little treat bag. I went to a craft fair today, and I think this would have been something that would have sold well just based on the things that I saw. So I stamped that Angel Policy. Make sure you go back and sign your name in those Angel Policy spots if you are making these gift bags with us. And now I have 3 little snowflakes that come off of the stamp set called If Snowflakes Were Kisses. I have the stamp and thin cut set, and I used the Carolina ink, and I stamped it all over on the white panel for the stitch scallop bracket thin cuts, and all over on that polka dot panel. And I just kept kind of turning and twisting it all different ways and did it randomly on both of those pieces. And then I'm going to come back to the wisteria ink, and I'm going to stamp that sentiment from the stamp set on that little stitch scallop bracket thin cut as well. And the penguin is the one that I'm going to use of these animals. I've already done the thin cut. You will just need to stamp the penguin in the black ink, and then the sentiment will go on that white panel on the left with all the snowflakes. And it says, if snowflakes were kisses, I'd send you a blizzard, or something adorable like that. That sentiment was the whole reason I bought this stamp set. I thought it was so precious. I think it would actually be good if you stamped a card with this and sent a gift card from Dairy Queen, and then, you know, they could go buy a blizzard. How cute would that be? I like to take ideas and then put them on Post-it notes in my catalog, so when I go back to use these stamp sets and I need a clever idea, I have all my ideas right there and I have inspiration ready to go. Okay, so let's go ahead and put this large panel on the back of the gift bag. Cover it with plenty of adhesive so it doesn't come apart, because these bags will be stuffed. And then I layered the sentiment panel together with the wisteria stitch bracket as well. And I'm going to stamp that penguin. I'm putting the foam under there because I want to make sure I get a lot of good coverage with the black ink on that penguin. And I use the intense black ink because we're going to come back in with tri-blend markers and color it. And I kind of let the ink soak into it, so that's why I left it sit there for a minute. And that came out great. Good. So clean off your stamps as you're going. Make sure you keep those cleaned. I'm doing that all off camera. And I'm going to layer these together and then put them on the front of the gift bag. This honestly is such a quick little craft to put together. You can put it a little bit more to the right because you're going to have that penguin on the left-hand side. Or you can center it, it's up to you. I kind of put it to the right so the penguin didn't stick out too far. And then you're going to want you can see. You want to have room for him. And then I'm going to color this penguin with 3 different Spectrum Noir tri-blend markers. I used Dusty Purple Blend, Citrus Blend, and Ice Blue Blend. Oh, that's a mouthful. And I'm starting with the Citrus Blend for his little beak in the middle. And then I'm using the Dusty Purple Blend. I used the lightest shade on his earmuffs. And I'm actually going to go back over these earmuffs with my clear shimmer brush, just because sometimes those are kind of sparkly, and so I will go back over those. Okay, so then I'm going to do the little scarf around his neck, and every other section I did on the far left the lightest shade of the Dusty Purple Blend, and then I kind of came around the outside of that little area with the medium tone, and then I came back and I like traced over the little V's that were on the scarf, and then I came back in with my lightest shade and blended it all together. And then I went through that same process again with the ice blue on the opposite ones. I went down the left side with the lightest shade, and you always want to keep your shadowing going the same direction. So that's why I did it the same. So I went down the left side with the lightest shade, and then with the medium, I did the outside, like the top, the bottom, and the right, and the little V's with the medium, and then I came back in with the lightest and blended those together. And here's my shimmer brush. I had to let that dry a little before I wanted to put this on, and it made it sparkly. It looks really cute. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and stuff my bag with my hot chocolate and my candy, and then put that bag of marshmallows in. I think it actually looks cute if you leave that bag of marshmallows stick out a little bit. The next thing I'm going to do is wrap this bag with the ribbon. And when I put that sentiment on the front, I made sure I left a little bit of room for that ribbon to come across the top. And then I just tied it up in a knot. This is some retired ribbon. I love it. I wish I could find a couple more rolls of it. Then I'm using my foam tape, and I'm going to put it on the little penguin there, pop him up a little bit, and then I'm going to put that round snowflake on the back. Sometimes I put it on the left, sometimes I put it on the right, but it's from an old kit that we had. 'Tis the Season Snowflakes is what they were called. If you're hunting down any of these, they are adorable. You could also cut something on your Cricut, but I think it's adorable. And then stuff in those purple little fringy things that just makes it look fun and festive. And there are my 2 gift bags for you. Here's the other 2 that I made in another video that published a couple days ago. Make sure you go and check out all of the Makers with Heart and their videos and their craft projects. And if you would give me a thumbs up, I would appreciate it. Make sure you've subscribed and ring that bell to turn on your notifications. And if you would like to leave a sweet comment and share this with your crafty friends, I certainly would appreciate it. Thank you.